Shalom. It's Ebrahimoff, the Haftorahman. This week's Haftorah is a special one. It's called Parshat Hachodesh, the month. What month? Well, let's back up a little bit. There were 4 special Haftorahs before Pesach. The first one we read was Shabbat Shekalim, or money. Then the second one we read was Parshat Zachor, or memory. Then the third one we read is Parshat Para, mammal. And now the fourth one we're going to read is Parshat HaChodesh, or the month, the 4 M's. What do we see? If Chag Pesach is the holiday of freedom, then how do you tie in these 4 Haftorahs that are breaking the chains that are holding us back in life? And that you could see, the first thing it says is that if you want your freedom, you want to participate in a community. You put your money where your mouth is, and you participate with shkalim, and that is that you stand up and be counted. The next thing is zachor, or memories, amalek, that we think ignoring things are going to make them go away. But what God tells us is, pay attention, son. There are people out there that are trying to attack you, people that are close to you. Amalek was our cousins. So it's saying, remember what happened to you in the past, but the freedom is that it doesn't hinder you in going forward in life. Then the para, this calf, this magical calf that was able to make somebody spiritually pure. And the Haftarah talks about leiv shel basar, that you should go from a leiv shel even, a heart of stone, and become leiv shel basar. If somebody goes through extreme emotional trauma, at times the brain says, shut off all feelings, because I will forego ever feeling good in order to never feel bad anymore. Now, Jewish people were in exile in Babylonia, and Yechezkel, 2,500 years ago, was speaking to the Jewish people. And he was saying, you are now going to go back to the land of Israel. And when you're back in the land of Israel, you're going to be back in a relationship with God. Oftentimes, God is compared to the husband, and the nation of Israel is compared to as the wife. So God is now saying, come back, come close to me. What Yechezkel is saying, if you're going to be back in a relationship with God, you have to be sensitive to God's feelings. Have a leiv shel basar, that you should have a heart of flesh, and that you would never ever do anything that would hurt or upset God. Adultery, idolatry, that you would never murder, you never pay off the judges, because you know that's not what God wants. That's the freedom with the para. Next, this week, Hachodesh. Let's see what lesson we can learn. There's a saying, when you ask somebody to do something, they go, sorry, I don't have time. Guess what? You look around in life, you see people rich and richer, smart and smarter, good-looking, movie stars. Everybody's different, except for one thing, time. What's the thing about time? There's nobody with 23 hours a day. There's no one with 25 hours a day. But to have it HaChodesh HaRishon, the first month, why? Because it was the time of our Geulah. It was the time of our great redemption. So Yechezkel the prophet is now somebody who saw the destruction of the temple, led the people spiritually while they were in exile, and he's speaking to them. When you hear a Haftorah from Yechezkel, this man is powerful. He has the Haftarah Chol HaMoed Pesach, in the valley of the dry bones. He has the Haftarah on Shvuot, with the Merkavah, God's heavenly chariot. He has the Haftarah in Chol HaMoed Sukkot. So you are talking about a man that when he speaks, he's telling an intense story about what's going to happen here. And what he says is that there will come a day when the third Beit HaMikdash will be built. And he describes the sacrifices done by the Nasi. Nasi, what happened to Melech? Melech is king. Now they refer to the leader as Nasi, or prince. Prince equals, according to some, Mashiach. What is the Mashiach going to do? Or what is this prince going to do? And it outlines, on the first day of Nisan, Rosh Chodesh, we're going to do these celebrations and these sacrifices. Remember, today, Shabbos is a holy day, once a week. But equal to Shabbat was Rosh Chodesh. It had its special sacrifices. It was not a work day. People took it easy. They celebrated spiritual intimacy with God. Now, the Haftorah continues. On the seventh day, a week later, do these sacrifices. The Haftorah continues. On the 14th day, this is Pesach, and this is the sacrifices that you do on Pesach. And it continues to mention also, you will do the same, these different sacrifices on Sukkot. Then finally, the Haftarah concludes with what a Kohen is allowed to do. Remember, back then, frame of reference, agricultural society. So the tribes of Israel had land, except for one tribe. Yes, the Levium and the Kohanim. So how'd they make their parnassah? They made it from Truma and Ma'aser, from taxes being brought to them from the income of the people of the land of Israel. They were not landowners. You say, hey, wait a minute. Agricultural society and you don't own land? What's going on? You must be very trusting of God. And they were. So now, the conclusion of this Haftarah is that we are now completing the cycle of 4 Haftorot right before Pesach. It's preparing us for a mindset to be released from what's holding us back. And now, when you say Hachodesh, now is the time you say to yourself, I choose to use my time to, number one, spiritually elevate myself, purify myself, and move forward freely by choosing God. Shabbat Shalom. Enjoy the Haftarah.